first one is Nick Blinko from Raymond Tripini. This is the Haunted Head.
Mm-hmm.
This is a special book for me because the four I'm going to show are from different places in the world. And this one was given to me by Henry Boxer, his art dealer. And he gave me like a couple of drawings of him. But the thing that I think is most special about this one is that it was meant to be for someone else. And I got it because I was in the right place in the right moment, which was his gallery in London. It's Richmond, London.
Mm-hmm.
So it was meant for here he says
Oh wow.
Pete
P1000.
Townsend. Yeah, because it's a neighbor of Henry Boxer from his house, and it's a fan of Nick Blinko, which is kind of weird. So the book basically is a novel written in a weird way because each each chapter is weird. It's written like from his delusions. So you get like small like novels or tales, which it's kind of useless to separate it in chapters because each one doesn't have to do anything with the other.
Mm-hmm.
So some are shorter and some are larger. It's like a tales book, but yeah, it's a special book for me, and I think it's one of the one that top shelf of my bookshelf. So yeah, this and this I don't know if it's a special edition. I know there's other edition of this one, which is a pocket edition, like purple or brownish, with a different skull in the cover. But I think
What year was it published?
I think it was 2010 or 8. It was published by Coptic Cat, which is the publishing company of David Tibet from Current 93, and it's 2009.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and actually, when I met Henry, he has just received like the proof prints, like test prints of the next book, which is Pope Adrian 37, I think it's called, which is just drawings. This one is just writing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the next one is a big one. It's Prurient's Rose Pillar, which is a noise project from New York, and it's I think it's one of the most beautiful books, although it was meant to be a record because it has a vinyl on the last page.
Uh-huh.
Here. That's the vinyl sleeve. And the rest of the book is basically just what it looks like Google Images with phrases from a short tale that comes in the, like, I'm going to show you. Like, the book is like this, like the phrase, and then
Mm-hmm.
and most pages are like this. But the first part of the book is a tale written by the mother of Prurient, who is a novelist and I think is a psychiatrist. She's called Shane Ferraka, and the story tells the last days of her brother dying. So it's like a really kind of dark novel or tale, I don't know. And the music is noise, like Prudent is mostly a noise project.
Mm-hmm.
and I think the book is really interesting. And I bought it here at a record store.
Where are you
Um,
where are you based right now exactly?
I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Okay, so you're in Buenos
I'm,
Aires right now.
yeah, I'm in San Justo, which is like a small town,
Mm-hmm.
like 2 hours from capital city.
Okay. So
Uh,
there are some good bookstores there. Some good like
no,
independent bookstores.
actually not. But this one from Prurient, there's a record store that sells like black metal and like ritualistic music, like some kind of mm, Nazi right wing
Mm-hmm.
music projects, and they have some projects that I like Death in Shun and Carbon 93 that they sell
Mm-hmm.
those CDs. And I asked them if they could get me this one, and it took
Okay.
like 3 months.
So you
Uh,
asked them to get it because you saw that was out.
yeah. And it's from the Harmworm Press, which is the Wesley Azels from Cold Cave
Mm-hmm.
uh, label or like print house. I don't know. And I think it's a beautiful book. All despite the music, like even if you don't like noise records, uh, the book is really interesting because of its of the colors and the way it's. I'm going to show you
Laid
with
out.
remote.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, and it's like hardcover.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really nice book, and it was kind of an inspiration for some time for me making scenes like that, like
Yes.
combining like text with images, even though they're random images that doesn't have to any connection with text. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think that gives an artistic kind of meaning to
Mm-hmm.
it that it makes it unique.
So I was gonna ask, what do you use usually books for? What's your reasons to choose a book from your bookshelf usually?
Um, Mostly the cover, which is kind of wrong because of the phrase, but I usually try to get books that relate to something that I like. Like if I buy from a writer, I usually try to find something like Fante or Kerouac, and that's like my way of choosing books.
But do you
And
use it in your practice too? Do you use it as inspiration for your practice? You were saying now to make zines, for instance, or
yeah, I usually like try to get my inspiration or my inspiration from books come from books like this, like the prudent one, that it's not common.
mm-hmm.
Like because I try not to. I got a lot of scenes from here and from like scene making people from Argentina, and they usually look like one scene that was made in the 90s that was called Fun People, which is from the band Fun People, and all the scenes like have this way of like collaging, but collaging in the same way, like text in interviews mixed with like random images that look from the 90s of or skate and stuff. And I think that there are not so much people that makes like artsy scenes here. Like there's a place where you can get like the most artsy scenes, which is a small bookshop that it's called Punk, but with a C, not with a K.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually based on comic book artists. The next one is this one. It's Miroslav Dishes, uh, who is a photographer, like an outside photographer, who is to make his own cameras from trash, like these ones. I don't know if you can see. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm not
And
mistaken, it was like a homeless. It was living in the streets for a while, I think.
yeah, he was homeless. He used to live like in this small cabin, like it's really destroyed. There's the documentary of Miroslav Tishi is up on YouTube. It's
Ah.
called like uh, Rebel Tarzan or something like that, and they show the house where he lived before he died. And yeah, I bought this book in New York um, at Bookmark, which is the Marc Jacobs bookstore,
Hmm.
and I've been like 2 or 3 times in New York, and that's my favorite like bookstore. I think they have like really cool books. Um, I can't tell if the prices are low or high because um, I don't know much bookstores there, and I got there books that are really cool and important to me, like this one, which is really big,
Hmm.
thick, like it's my hand.
Yeah.
Uh,
What's
it's like
do you do photography, first of all? Do you take pictures of your own?
yes, and I usually like paint to write. Uh, Usually like make books. So yeah, I make music too, but I'm not like quit being interested in showing my art in a massive way some
Hmm.
years ago, because here in Argentina you have to pay a lot of money to show in galleries, even though they're smaller, or you have to pay to play your music uh, in bars and stuff. So I just started talking with labels, small labels from New York and Italy and other countries, uh, and I play live whenever someone like
Hmm.
uh, asks me.
What kind
Some
of music?
friends,
What kind of music do you produce?
um, kind of noisy, sometimes gets like drony stuff, and I'm like now I'm recording in cassettes with small cassette recorders and like
Hmm.
doing collages of those tapes, and that's the music I'm doing now. But I also have another project that is called She-Man, like He-Man, but with an S,
Hmm.
and it's more like a techno, like pop noise. Like we have these songs that are really poppy, and some songs are really noisy. So yeah, uh, it's not because of the music. It's because like here you have to pay.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy. That's a crazy system. And
yeah,
what's a good bookstore in Buenos Aires?
you have Rayo Rojo, which means like red lightning bolt. Um, Sorry. Uh, and that one is the one where I got like this one, which is an outsider art catalog of a lot of artists, and the owner of that bookstore is like a fan of outsider art. So all the books he buys for himself, he buys two, and one he sells it. And now I'm not going too much because of the dollar, like currency exchange with the dollar is kind of expensive here. So I'm not going too much there because books are expensive. But whenever he got his books, like 5 years ago, usually I was the one who bought that second one, uh, because I'm a fan of outside art too.
Yeah.
And that those two are like the ones that you might get books in English and books uh, from different kind of authors. Like you can get books uh, from Bukowski and Aleister Crowley or outside art books.
Is there any good like art book fair or zine fairs in Buenos Aires?
I don't remember. I know there's a like the biggest book fair here uh, that has a lot of um, like I don't know editorial labels. I don't know how to say it. That's the one that you can buy anything, but usually those kind of book fairs don't allow bookstores like independent bookstores. There's a scene fair like punk scene fair that is based on the punk labels like music record labels from here, and they sell scenes, but it's not specially made to sell scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So I really can't tell now if there's a like scene fair, like a proper one.
Have you ever been to any of the international book fairs, like in LA or New York or elsewhere?
No, I haven't been there. I have been to the 8 Ball headquarters, which is like the the biggest scene place I've been, but not really. I just been to art shows, like the outside art shows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. I think we just went to the 15 minutes.
Okay, I want to show you one more, and that's it, which is
Yeah.
this one. It's
Uh-huh.
like the Little Prince,
Uh-huh.
but it's a special Argentinian edition made on Quechua, which is a kind of a dead language from here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The like indigenous language.
Yeah, it's a northern indigenous language, and it's a Little Prince made especially for that community.
Oh, that's amazing. It's the same
Yeah,
language that they speak in the Andes near Peru too. I know some parts
yeah,
there.
that's the one. That's
Yeah.
Quechua. It's that language.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thanks to you, Lele.